Today we start the unit on Earth's weather, and it's going to seem a little strange because this first objective is actually a space objective. It has to do with the Earth's rotation, its revolution around the sun, and how those things affect its shape and how that's related to the seasons and the tides. Well, and that's important because seasons are part of weather. So when we start with weather, we have to start with the idea that Earth's weather starts in space. Okay? The sun has a very huge impact on Earth's weather. So we're going to talk through a little bit of that, and then as we get into the weather unit a little deeper, then we'll pick up on that a little more. So this is our starting point, and this should look very familiar to you because we've spent a lot of time in class working on the daily geography practices. And pick out our main lines of latitude. Now, latitude lines are which ones? Is it the top map or the bottom map? It is the top map. The lines that run east and west. They move east and west, but they measure north and south. Okay, those latitude lines. Now, the first latitude, most important latitude line is the equator, right? And then the next two important latitude lines, and these are extremely important when we're talking about seasons, so you've got to understand these lines. This is why we spent so much time on this back during the school year, was because I knew we were coming to this. And you have to know these lines to understand what's going on with the seasons. So the equator is the main line of latitude, 0 degrees latitude. The Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees north of the equator. 23.5 degrees north of the equator. That number is very important, 23.5 degrees. And then if we go south of the equator, that's the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn, that's 23.5 degrees south of the equator. So Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degrees north. Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south. That takes us to the lines of longitude. And the most important line of longitude, of course, is the prime meridian. The equator separates into northern and southern hemispheres, and the prime meridian separates into eastern and western hemispheres. The United States is in the northern hemisphere, and it's in the western hemisphere. Australia is in the southern hemisphere, and it's in the eastern hemisphere. So all continents are in at least 2 hemispheres. Some continents are in more than 2 hemispheres. So if you look at Antarctica at the bottom of the map, is it in the northern or the southern? Just the southern. It is in the eastern or the western? Both. So Antarctica is actually in 3 hemispheres. The southern hemisphere, the western, and the eastern hemisphere. Look at Africa. Africa is split by the equator, so it's in the northern and the southern hemisphere. And it's split by the prime meridian, and it's in the eastern and the western hemisphere. It's the only continent that's in all 4 hemispheres. Now, this is going back to 6th grade material, but on the pretest, this is one of the things that most people missed. So I want to make sure we're going back over this. You need to write this down. You need to remember this because this is extremely important. You confuse these and it's going to be a problem. Okay, so Earth's rotation. Rotation. So if you think of rotating, something that rotates, it turns in place. So the Earth's axis goes through the center of the poles, North Pole to South Pole, and the Earth spins around that axis. It's rotating on the axis. Earth's rotation causes day and night. It rotates every 24 hours. It's actually 23.6 hours, but we say 24 hours. So the Earth rotates every 24 hours, which gives us our day and night. Now, if you remember back to the hemispheres, I said that the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn was at 23.5 degrees. The Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees. That's important. You have to understand that the Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees, and the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn are at 23.5 degrees. When we get to seasons on Thursday, that's going to become very important. So rotation, Earth's moving on its, rotating around its own axis, rotating around one point. Okay. Which takes us to Earth's revolution, which you got the sun in the middle and the Earth that rotates around the outside of it. Okay. So that is revolution. It's revolving around the sun. That happens every 365 1/4 days. The revolution causes our year. The rotation causes our day. Rotation in 24 hours. Revolution 365 days. Okay. Now, the rotation, the revolution, the tilt of the axis is what causes the seasons. We're going to talk more specifically about the seasons on Thursday. But really, all this lesson is about is Earth's rotation and revolution. 6th grade material. You should already know this, but most of you missed this. So you have to grasp this difference between rotation and revolution. Rotation, the Earth rotates on its axis every 24 hours. That's day and night. Revolution, it revolves around the sun every 365 days. Revolution causes the year. Rotation causes day-night. Revolution causes the year. That's it for this lesson. I'll see you tomorrow when we talk about Earth's shape.